Africa to Rwanda. President Bola Tinubu is departed. Kenya has now proceeded to Rwanda, where he will be participating in the Africa CEO Forum. Behind the ruling party's public smiles, fresh cracks, secret alliances, and a fierce power struggle are igniting a political storm, threatening to shake the foundations of the All Progressive Congress ahead of the crucial battles. Hello everyone, welcome to the program, and thank you so much indeed for joining in. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I am Seun Okimaloye. Let's get talking. We're dealing with some of your biggest stories in the land and bringing those who are policymakers, thought profilers, and those who are in the news for you to give perspectives to all of these stories. Let's begin by letting you know where our president is. Bola Tinubu is now in Kigali, in Rwanda, after he left Kenya. So he's in that country for the 13th edition of the Africa CEO Forum 2026, which begins tomorrow. The presidency says that the president arrived at the presidential wing of the Kigali International Airport and was received by Bianca Ojukwu and Juvenal Marizamunda, or the dignitaries on hand to welcome the president included Mr. Jumake Oduwale, Mohammed Ibrahim Zana, and Mr. Sunday Dare. President Tinubu was later received by President Paul Kagame at the Rwanda village, where both leaders held bilateral talks aimed at strengthening the relations between Nigeria and Rwanda. Or the President Bola Tinubu there in Kigali. So we're going to be talking about just a few issues tonight, and my guest tonight, you know him. Not just only that he speaks his mind where he disagrees, he's got his way cast in so many areas in which when he believes in a particular thing, he sticks to it, and except if you are able to convince him otherwise. He's a very difficult man to convince anyways. But he's my guest tonight, and we're going to be asking questions about his party stand, the politics in the National Assembly, and the 2027 opposition coalition pressure on his political party. The opposition has sworn that President Bola Tinubu and the APC will be giving the beating of their lives and will be taken out of the presidential villa at the 2027 election. Now, all of that is going to be playing out in our eyes, see how the elections play out, but he's going to be speaking with me on that matter. But before we get talking with my guest, let's check out some of your political roundup stories.
Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja has sentenced a former Minister of Power, Mr. Salih Maman, to 75 years jail term in absentia over a 33.8 billion naira money laundering offense. Justice Omotosho, who convicted Maman in all the 12 counts preferred against him by the EFCC, ordered that the sentence shall run consecutively and not concurrently. Justice Omotosho said the absence of the ex-minister in court today and on the last adjourned date is a deliberate attempt to stop the wheel of justice. The judge consequently sentenced the convict to 7 years imprisonment in counts 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 without option of fine. Ahead of the June 2026 governorship election in Ekiti State, a civil society organization's survey report has raised security concerns in some local government areas in the state and asking security agencies to address these fears before the exercise next month. Speaking on the survey report at a news conference in Abuja, the executive director of Peering Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa calls for a joint collaboration between security agencies and politicians to address security challenges that could further worsen voter apathy. The Election Monitoring Group also draws attention to aspects of the survey report that highlighted vote trading as another major risk that should be addressed in the forthcoming elections in the state. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has reaffirmed his commitment to the membership of the All Progressives Congress. Governor Fubara stated this today after inspecting the reconstructed River State Psychiatric Hospital, which has been remodeled into a general hospital in Rumuigbo, Obiakpo local government area. The governor said reports and interpretations circulating on social media suggesting otherwise are false, insisting that he remain committed to the APC and its overall interests. Former governor of Adamawa State, Umar Jibrila Bindo, has assured Nigerians that the African Democratic Congress has a bright chance of winning the presidential and other elections, following what he describes as the unimpressive performance of the present administration and other political office holders of the All Progressives Congress led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The former governor made this remark in Yola, the Adamawa State capital, shortly after accepting the call by supporters of the ADC for him to contest for the office of the governor of Adamawa State under the platform of the party. According to him, the ADC, which has former Vice President Atiku Abubakar as its leader, is the only opposition party that can unseat President Tinubu and return the country to the path of true democracy. Ahead of the 2027 general elections, stakeholders and members of the ruling All Progressives Congress in Abia South Senatorial District have commended the performance of President Bola Tinubu, saying his bold economic policies and developmental projects are repositioning Nigeria and deserve continuity beyond 2027. Speaking during the inauguration of ward and local government coordinators of the door-to-door movement in Aba, Abia State, the coordinator of the group, Paul Ikonne, charged the newly inaugurated coordinators to mobilize, organize, and energize party members, supporters, and voters across wards and polling units in support of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's re-election in Abia State.
Thanks so much. There you have it. Those are your political roundup stories. Tonight on the program, the storm within Nigeria's main political establishment is taking our attention, and inside the Senate we get into it, and some of the growing cracks within the ruling APC, fierce debates over power, party leadership, consensus arrangement, and the battle for 2027. They continue to dominate national discourse, from the controversial altercation involving Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Senator Adams Oshiomhole to questions surrounding amendments to Senate rules, internal wranglings within the APC Governors Forum, opposition realignment, and the mounting political calculations ahead of President Bola Tinubu's re-election bid, which we've seen that has kicked off in earnest. The stakes are now higher, perhaps more than ever. Joining me tonight on the program is former national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, two-term governor of Edo State, and the senator representing Edo North in the National Assembly, Senator Adams Oshiomhole. Thank you so much indeed, Senator, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Sheryl. You've been away for some time, and you're welcome back.
Thank you so much indeed. I appreciate it. Let me get you one of the issues of concern, and those who perhaps would disagree with you, agree to the point that Nigerians and any other African country, you saw what Ghana did yesterday and today, make an announcement of evacuation of their citizens out of that country, and your stance on the floor of the Senate as to the decision of the federal government, or what the federal government should be doing in going after the South African private interest in Nigeria as a way to serve as deterrence to the South Africans. And those who would disagree with you, those who will be asking, do you think that is a reasonable pathway into getting the attention of South Africa when you now hold South African company liable to what South African average citizen is doing to Nigerians in that country?
Thank you very much. I think the issue for me is very straightforward. You have corporate citizens, you have individual citizens. Nigeria citizens are being harassed and killed in South Africa, not for the first time, not for the second time, not for the third time. It's like any time people wake up, they have no job, they're hungry, they visit their transferred aggression to black people. And Nigeria has its own fair share of the black population. And so if it's an economic issue, my point is, a Nigerian, typically in South Africa, takes capital from Nigeria money, convert it to dollar, go to South Africa and establish a trading company. Maybe from small-scale business, it grows and begin to prosper because they have the skills so to do. And then someone wake up one day, you destroy that business. There are cases in which Nigeria stores have been burnt. There are cases in which Nigeria-owned stores have been looted. And of course, the owners wasted. My problem is the South African government is not on record as having prosecuted or sentenced anyone to prison for obvious looting, arson, or even murder. That implied state endorsement of a wrong policy. I also happen to know, because don't forget, when I was president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, we had bilateral relationship with the, what we call COSATU, Congress of South Africa Trade Unions. So we had a dream of a world in which workers all over the world, in particular African workers, would be there for each other. And I am shocked that the South Africans think that the economic crisis is because of those Nigerians and some other countries, people from other countries who are doing many jobs in their country, and they ask them to go. And my logic is simple. If it's an economic war, then Nigeria, who is allowing its citizens to go to South Africa, well, we don't need a visa anyway. Or put more clearly, who's it inside South Africa to do small businesses? If they are being chased away for doing small businesses, why should we allow South Africa to do big businesses, such as MTN, I think they have Stabit Bank, you have ShopRite, name them. They are all high net worth companies that are not only giving jobs to top senior South Africans as managers and directors, they are also cutting away billions of dollars in profit. So I said to myself, we can't force South Africa to accept our citizens, but we also cannot force us to accept their corporate citizens. And in diplomacy, I believe there is what we call reciprocity. And you can choose your tools. If you have chosen the economic battle at the lower end, where our people are suffering in South Africa, and you are envious of the job they do, then we go after your own businesses that are more lucrative, and you are repatriating Nigeria capital. MTN, for example, what is repatriating from Nigeria to South Africa? All the incomes of Nigerians living in South Africa and doing small businesses put together is not up to a fraction of that. As we speak, somebody said, Nigerians also are part owners of MTN. Yes, maybe the last time I read about the shareholding structure of MTN, they are hoping that they will go to the market again and Nigeria might acquire up to 35%. So they will own on to 65%. So I'm like, okay, it's economic war. Nigeria we shouldn't just say we are big brother. A brother without muscle is nothing. And I sure you will appreciate that. We did quite a bit. Now, one thing I want to correct. I saw this morning, I was watching. Rufai of Arise Television said, Oshomole lied when he said Ramaphosa had interest in, that is South Africa president. He has interest in MTN. And that is why I said, when we go for his economic jugular in Nigeria, he will behave more responsibly because he has been silent, even in the face of those killings. But two things he didn't reply to. But what he claimed was that Ramaphosa's company, President Ramaphosa's company that had shares in MTN had divested. But that is begging the question, whether it is Ramaphosa or it is other South African big people who are running those lucrative businesses in Nigeria, and they are doing so peacefully, unmolested. I'm saying, regardless, it's not the fact that, because President Ramaphosa may be president today, won't be president tomorrow. But if the logic of the government of South Africa and a segment of the South African black population is that you don't want Nigeria to do petty trading, then you can't come here and do big trading.
Let me come in quickly.
Like ShopRite. Now, lastly, Rufai lied when the other day, he tried to confuse people as if he's a foreign consultant. He said, why are we not killing, we should nationalize the businesses of Nigerians, of rich men in northern Nigeria. I don't know why he seeks to regionalize what obviously is a national challenge with regards to people who are being killed by bandits, etc. But Rufai should know better that, as a matter of fact, since he's somebody who talks about empirical evidence and empirics, even though most of the time he quote figures out of context, the fact of the matter is that people who have been convicted for aiding and abetting terrorism, killing of people in the north, was convicted, their property has been forfeited to the federal government. That is worse than to nationalize, not to seize. You don't take it over and pay compensation.
All right.
So if that happens,
Senator
if that is happening, so he asked me that day, he said, what about people in the north where Nigerians are being killed? Just got it completely wrong.
All right, let me
so when he said I lied, he is
Yeah.
actually a pathological liar. He twists facts in a manner as if for him.
Let's focus on this issue of this.
And
of course, you will remember where Kwame Nkrumah was talking about United States of Africa. And those who dreamed the Nyeris of this world, the Nelson Mandelas of this world, who dreamt of a united Africa. And there's a lot of people, maybe these people will be moving in their graves to see what is happening.
Absolutely.
And perhaps you look at it again, maybe there is an indictment on those who have led this country. Maybe they have been soft on South Africa in the past, and that's why this thing have gone on change. But there are those who have punctured your argument, Senator Shomali, to say, look, if you are talking about the federal government of Nigeria going after South African business interests in Nigeria, that may be fault. For example, the MTN is listed on the stock exchange.
Yes.
The chairman and members of the board are of Nigerian descent. They are Nigerians. There are Nigerian shares on MTN. If you talk about MultiChoice, for example, MultiChoice is largely owned by Canon France, which is directly a French company. And there are those who will say, maybe that's not the right way to look at it. You cannot punish corporate-private interests because of the failure of a government or a public interest.
No, you got it wrong. First, let's be very, very clear. I talk about categories of citizens. All over the world, you talk about citizens of countries. You also have corporate citizens. The ownership of the open ownership of DSTV may have been reworked in a way as to give it a French face. But you might go deeper to find out whether, in truth, there is no longer South Africa content.
There are South African interests in it.
Okay,
but the point I'm making,
wait.
so that we don't mix things up.
That interest is one.
Some of these companies you make so that we don't confuse our audience. Some of the companies you mentioned, they are not owned by South African state.
Wait.
They are owned by private corporate interest.
Yes,
and that's the point.
I didn't say corporate. Now, these Nigerians who are being killed in South Africa, whose shops have been looted, is anybody arguing that they are Nigerian-owned businesses? They are not Nigerian government-owned businesses. They are owned by Nigerian citizens. Exactly the same way as South African citizens have interest in those companies in varying degrees. That is the point. If you impose economic sanction, but what I do not advocate, we should behave as a more civilized people. We shouldn't kill, we shouldn't maim, we shouldn't burn, but we follow the law. The law allows us to take over. There's a hostile takeover, there's a friendly takeover. So if MTN is quoted, very good. That portion that is still held by South African citizens, that portion should be taken and managed by Nigerians. And I saw Rufai today laboring in a very poor manner that Nigerians can't manage, which is indicting himself, not our nation, as far as I'm concerned. He was talking about Etisala, that it had not succeeded. I said, how can you be such a poor liar, Rufai, that you don't remember that Glo is owned by a Nigerian, Mr. Adenuga? He's alive and well. How can you not know that Airtel has sufficient Nigeria content and is doing well? Why are you suggesting that Nigerians cannot hold a GSM company? Because he's so self-opinionated, so paranoid that He lied lavishly and he lied confidently.
But this is not a reporting. This is not a reporting platform. We're here to. Yeah.
But let me speak to the point. The other point you made.
Yeah. And I'm saying
now,
that
it's about,
is Nigeria, is the past government not being complicit?
You said it all. Nigeria has been the poaching bank. They poach us in Ghana, we turn the other cheek. But for Ghana, sometimes I have mixed feelings. Because once upon a time, we had a Shagari government that asked Ghanaians to go home. That is what gave rise to this popular Ghana must go. And because for me, that is the problem. When governments are in trouble, they sought to divert attention. Exactly the same way as President Ramaphosa is in trouble at the moment with his own people. And it was very convenient for him to behave as if the problem is not caused by him, it's caused by other Africans. So I believe that we can't be the proverbial poach bank that Ghana can punch us, South Africa can punch us, any country can punch. Even there was a time, I think this small country, Guinea, Equatorial Guinea, or whatever, they were dealing with some Nigerians who are farmers or cocoa farmers in those countries. This country must stand for its citizens. That is my position.
But what has your government? You are a part and parcel, a senior member of this government. What has this government done?
How do government policies formulate? Now, I have chosen to be part of the legislative arm of this government. And in that capacity, I have advocated what I want. But the Constitution allows me to debate, to sponsor a motion, and to debate a particular policy. If I have my way, it prevails. If I don't have my way, it suffers. So but you probably know where I stand.
So that's the reason why. That's the reason why I raised the issue of indictment on the manner in which. Just a moment, sir. Let me land on my question. I raised the issue of indictment of past government on how they have responded and handled the issue of xenophobic attacks on Nigerians in the past, and we're seeing that also playing out in the past. How many days when Nigerians have been attacked in South Africa? What has been the official position of the federal government of Nigeria? Ghanaian government has gone ahead to evacuate their citizens there. Has Nigerian government done anything other than that?
Now, you just agree with me that we can't keep using the same old-fashioned diplomacy that make our ambassadors and our foreign ministers to exchange a cup of tea, sign communique, and business as usual. That is why I am advocating specific sanctions. Because an economic argument, they are saying Nigerians are taking our jobs, they are taking our businesses, that's why they are looting. And the capital that the Nigerians are trading with, we are not loaned from South Africa banks. And even if they are meant to be paid back. But no bank will give you money to start a business. These guys took Nigeria capital to South Africa to set up businesses. And they are flourishing. And then somebody is full of envy. And then the state is not protecting them. So I'm saying, if previous government over the years have gotten used to these cocktail dinners and parties, nice talks, don't hurt me, I don't hurt you, but you know this is not too nice, don't do it again, my people are not too happy, so I will move on. This time, we should not only back, we should bite. We should deploy different tools to deal with a recurring problem that diplomacy in the traditional sense of the word has not used. In any case, there's what we call economic diplomacy. I think it was Ike Nwachukwu as foreign minister who was talking about Nigeria policy being based or informed by what he labeled, I believe correctly, economic diplomacy.
Yeah.
So because it's not always that you have to be the guy, the nice
bigger
guy,
nations of this world.
I'm saying
America is using economic sanctions against other countries.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government as a reformist government. And I was very excited recently when he made a radical statement. For many people, they don't read, or if they do, they don't even digest it. Government after government in Nigeria has always said, Africa is the centerpiece of Nigeria foreign policy. But about, I think last month, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to his credit and to my admiration, said, Nigeria and Nigeria citizens are now the centerpiece of Nigeria foreign policy. For me, that implied a radical shift.
Sounded like Donald Trump.
From the past, where we just go and give handout to people without any condition.
All right, Senator, so because I have quite a lot of issues.
But the thing that I was happy about is that, you know, there is a point in a nation, in the life of a nation, where both the media, the state, and the citizens should be at one. If Nigeria is under attack, this is not a partisan issue. It's a national issue. My primary purpose in government is to protect Nigerians. Even when I was in NSC, my primary purpose was to defend the Nigerian working families. Right. So anybody, and if you are in the media, regardless of how free you are, you cannot be so free as not to understand that if there is no Nigeria, there will no politics today. Your politics today is hardly discussing world politics. You are mostly discussing Nigeria politics. There has to be a nation. And if we are here looking helpless, when we know that these guys who are chasing our people are marketing, what do you call it? Small cricket, right? And these guys are marketing elephant legs in our stores. For example, if you take over, because again, I was shocked that Rufai said Nigerians cannot manage. Whatever you want to see, Peter Obi is managing his trading business. So if we crash ShopRite, Peter Obi can take it over. Well, he can expand his business. I want to mention that.
ShopRite business is actually now being divested as a different entity from the South African. So
I took time to understand the way in which multinationals work. The same person can bear different names in different countries. They can use different purpose vehicles to buy shares as such that the real owner, you will never see him. That is the world of business.
Let's take a quick break because we
should not be the one that always turn the other cheek.
Xenophobic attack is not the only matter I wish to take up with you. But let's go on a forced break on the program. But when we return,
I remember that we nationalized many companies because of South Africa. We nationalized Shell. We nationalized British Petroleum because America and UK and Europe, or some European countries, were supporting apartheid. So if we use economic tools to fight for their freedom, we should use the same tools to bring them to their senses.
All right.
If they get crazy with Nigerian people.
And I hope that they've come to their senses and the government of South Africa is learning what may be a very unpalatable
and I forget there's one Malema who one of the political
Julius,
parties, which is a less
an opposition leader. Yeah.
When we talk of party ideology, Malema is a member of South African Parliament. And he said, this is a misdirected aggression. If President Ramaphosa's government has failed to pursue job-led growth, to create opportunities for South African people, they should not visit that anger on African brothers and sisters who have been with them over the years. That, for me, is a voice to be commended.
All right, Senator.
You know that even in that madness, there is an outstanding South Africa of note leading a party saying, even if this will cost him his votes, even if the South Africa will not vote for him for telling them the truth, for reminding them about their history and the need to build Pan-Africanism.
We need to take a pause, Senator. We'll go on a break, but when we come back, Senator Shomole will be telling me whether or not what we are seeing as a deepening cracks within the APC, the battle for power ahead of 2027, and the challenge on the Bola Tinubu government and the APC seeking re-election is something that the party should be worried about. The pressure is on, and the opposition says time is up for the APC. We'll be right back after this. Senator Adams Shomole, former APC National Chairman, former Edo State Governor, and Senator representing Edo State in the National Assembly, has been speaking with us on the program tonight. Senator, I'd like us to manage our time so that I can be able to take you up on several of the issues I've lined up for our conversation tonight. Senator, quickly and briefly, can you tell Nigerians if there is no kind of hypocrisy that we're playing in this country? We're shouting whatever that is being done to Nigerians in South Africa is wrong. But what has been the decisive? It's been several days now. We've seen the example of Ghana. As Nigeria got the opportunity to be able to quickly evacuate its citizens. 1. 2, the issue of insecurity of Nigerians in South Africa. But we cannot secure our people right here. Is that not hypocrisy?
No, I'm surprised about your choice of words. Don't compare like with unlike. Every country, for example, a friend of mine who was General Secretary of OSATU ordered to me the level of criminality in South Africa. I don't have time now to check my phone. I'll have show you. About 170 persons are raped every day. He has statistics on the number of people who are in prison, those who are South Africans, those who are foreigners. Anyway, South Africa has its own fair share of criminality. There is no country. In fact, the highest rate of people in prison are in America. More than 2 million people, prisoners. And according to statistics, virtually every other minute somebody is killed. So the fact that countries have security challenges is no excuse why its government, and here I speak as a senator, the government cannot say, because we have not fixed security problem 100% in Nigeria, we don't care what happened to Nigerians outside Nigeria. I don't think you want to push the argument that Nigerian government should fold its hands. No, that will not be something associated with you. Because
have we seen any concrete steps? Now, have we seen a more concrete steps? Have we taken concrete steps? And I gave an example of Ghana.
Listen, Shehu, it will be unfair. You have watched and reported, sometimes very lavishly, how even very senior military officers have been killed in the course of defending this country against insurgents, against terrorists, against all form of extremism. If you don't know anyone who has been killed, I know many, including a relation, somebody from our local government, from my senatorial zone, was killed recently, a brigadier general. He's not the first brigadier general to be killed. I also know a number of colonels, captains who have been killed. You can't say Nigerian government is not doing something. The fact that you have rashes in your body is not because of the absence of rubbing appropriate cream. That you haven't cured the disease doesn't mean you are not treating it. So let's choose our words carefully. Because if you are not careful, you will be justifying. Ironically, you'll be justifying that since Nigeria, and there are even some South Africans who can argue that way. If we kill Nigeria here, what is wrong? After all, they are killing them in Nigeria. Is that the kind of argument you want to push? I don't think so. I think you should abandon that. The Nigeria state has responsibility to protect life and property of Nigerians, whether at home or abroad. Because we also protect the life and property of foreigners in Nigeria, even when their country are not free of insecurity. I think we should acknowledge one fact. We have a challenge. We have to continue to deal with it. That is challenge of insecurity among others. We have several.
Senator, I don't want us to debate South African matter too further. I mean, you've made it known. I thought we and one thing we agree. I think what we agree. Just a moment. What we agree on, or what we can agree on, as both you are a Nigerian, I'm a Nigerian, that we will not close our eyes and close our mouth if any Nigerian is being killed anywhere in the world,
including Nigeria.
Correct. And the fact that South Africa is probably not doing enough to protect any citizen that is not of their own.
In fact, they were not condemning it.
Yeah. So
only Walema condemn it.
Yeah. So let me switch to other issues quickly. Senator Shomole, Nigerians watched a public disagreement between you and the Senate President, who was leading the proceeding in the Senate. And at the time, it was a conversation about the rules of the Senate. And there are those who say, don't mind us, Shomole. The only reason why he's agitated is because he planned to be Senate President next time around, but his hopes were dashed by that rule. Do you feel very hurt by that? Is that a personal reason for you?
No, but I also did. But first, I think this has been overflogged. I have addressed the media on it, right on the floor. Besides what I said on the floor of the National Assembly, I also address, I believe, the correspondence of various media, including channels, on the issue. Nothing to do with me. Not at all. I'm a very happy person.
I've seen and I've watched, and a lot of Nigerians have seen. But does it take away the fact that, Senator, you wanted to be Senate President? Is that right? Do you still have the plan of wanting to become Senate President?
You know, what kills debate is when it's about you. So I'm angry about South Africa because my brother's business have been burnt. Not correct. Anybody who knows me knows that I take strong positions on issues that I'm convinced about. Play back my contributions on the floor of the Senate and cycle out the ones that I formed by my personal selfish interest.
I'm talking about this very one. I'm talking about
now,
this very
that
one.
issue has been
Did they
closed.
impact on your personal ambition?
No, you cannot. The rule with regards to the future, the election of Senate presidency is very well provided for in the Nigeria Constitution, Section 52. Any rule you make that is in conflict with that, the Constitution will prevail. You are a law student, you should know that. I'm not a law student, but I know that just listen to learned minds. So any rule you make, the Constitution says, upon proclamation, the clerk, not any senator, will preside. And it will be guided by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Any rule you make to the contrary is a waste of time. So don't let us waste more time on it. I think I've spoken extensively on it. We should allow that matter to rest. Because I can only
have you killed
and
your
I will not want to repeat myself,
of wanting to be Senate President, Senator?
That was never on the floor of the Senate. Therefore,
do you still want to be Senate President?
Pardon?
Do you still want to be Senate President?
Whether what?
Do you still want to be Senate President?
When?
In 2027.
Have I been elected yet?
Well, in my place. Have you not obtained the form?
Listen,
you paid for the form.
Yeah. Form to do what? To apply for a job. Have I gotten the job yet?
Yeah, but
excuse me, in my place.
There are those people who are planning in your party. There are those who are planning to be Senate President who are not even Senate presently.
So, isn't it? People are different. But for me, I learned early. My parents told me this, and I listened to my elders talk, that you don't pray for a child that to have a baby boy until the child first get married. So now my current tenure will end at the end of this session. It'll be on June 12 or June 13. Okay? Now I am applying for renewal. I cannot take the people of Edo North for granted. I pray that they renewed my request, they vote for me. But to take that for granted is to take the democratic process for granted. And I will not join you to speculate on that. Right now, I have applied. And you could ask me, do you want to be a senator again? I will say yes. What is the evidence? I have applied. Not only that, I have been screened. And on Monday, I will be going for primaries. If I win, I will face the election on January 15th. Excuse me. Only people who don't have fear of God, who do not understand that we are not who we are by reasons of our strength, we begin to postulate about what they want to be. I think we should take it step by step. Right now, Shehu, my current mandate is about to expire. I am working hard to get a renewal of that mandate.
You know why? That is what I want. You know why it is not out of place to ask you, Senator, whether or not you have the ambition, because you once had the ambition of wanting to become a Senate President. Just for a moment, sir. Just for a moment, sir.
If you have a point to be President of Nigeria, would you be?
It's not in part of my plan.
Are you born to be a PoliticsToday host?
Well, I think I'm born to do this for now.
The way you talk politics, the way you talk politics, I fear that if you have opportunity, you want to be president. Swear that you don't want to be. If it's thrown on your laps.
I swear I don't think I want to be president.
You don't swear yourself because the power of the tongue.
Well, I mean, the fact remains that I do not think about it. But the question, you know why? You know why?
It is not a crime, yeah?
Just a moment. Do you know the reason why it is not out of place to ask you whether you want to be Senate President? Because it is just a position that the rest of the senators are given the privilege to want to lead them. That's right. So anybody could be a Senate President. But it is not out. Why are you afraid to wanting to say you are Senate President?
Do I betray fear?
So that I'm asking, do you want to be Senate President?
No, I'm saying, if you choose to jump the gun, you want to play God, I will not join you to play God.
Are you playing God by wanting to be a senator?
I cannot aspire to be, just like when I was in NSC, the then DG of SSS, called the IRA, now ambassador. He once called me, and later it's many years later I understand what he was saying. That they say I am planning to be president of Nigeria. I said, which party do I belong to? Then I wasn't a member of any party. So I have not been re-elected. And then you're asking me what I like to be. Maybe somebody is thinking like that. That is why they try to manipulate it the way they do. For me, For me, I am a very contented person because my highest ambition in life was to be president of Nigeria Labour Congress. God knows when I pray, that is what I used to pray for. But somehow, on account of the way I led the NSC, I found people asking me even to contest for president. And I said, no, I don't think I have that. I don't have a wherewithal all the time. I would rather go for governorship. If somebody told me I will rise from being the head of the working class organization which Nigeria Labour Congress represents to becoming the chairman of the ruling party, I will say the person is afflicted with serious malaria. But it came to pass. So I've learned never to plan. I mean, it's all right to pray for progress.
Senator.
You know what I tell my children? I tell them, if I hadn't taken it to the route I choose to take to when I was 18, 19, when I saw injustice and oppression, and everybody was afraid I was going to be sacked. If I was just an obedient servant, at 50 as a blue-collar worker, I probably would have been sacked.
Senator.
And if I became a civil servant and I became head of service, at 65 or so, I would have retired. If I became a chief judge, if I read law, and I'm fortunate to be chief justice of Nigeria, at the age of 70, I will retire. So what is it now except stupidity that will make me such an ingrate not to recognize that even in my senatorial district, there are people more learned, there are people very seasoned, there are people very caring, there are people very competent to hold this position. And so if my people, and if I don't appreciate the value of it, when I see that there are sitting governors who have run for Senate, at the time I ran for Senate, and they lost, and I who had left Edo State government as a governor for about 4 years or 8 years. 8 years, yes. And I came back, I was re-elected as senator. I have so much to thank God for. But Senator, the point is that, Shehu, don't isolate my position. You said it all. In everything that I do, when I see people being afraid to speak their mind, I pity them. Because as a factory worker, I saw people who were afraid to join the union or to be elected union chairman because they would be sacked. I did. When they were about to sack me, I resigned. And in the end, I am better off.
Senator, let me take you up on your
I'm not going to comment on that issue.
2027. We will see. I mean, I've had opportunity of talking to politicians who say never, but they found themselves in the same shoes they swore never to find themselves. But let me ask you about your party,
it is not about swearing. It's about say, softly, one by one. Don't be too... Don't play God.
How does this sound? Senate President Adams Oshiomhole.
Oh, I was a president before.
And you want to be another
a far
number
more
3 citizen.
Position.
Yeah. You want to be number 3 citizen.
So you want to down this job as a host of Politics Today?
Is it a bad thing to do?
I just ask you, what's your ambition?
I'm very happy.
You want to be the founder of...
I want to.
You want to take over...
I love being a journalist. So if you want to be a Senate president, go ahead.
Your father is still a journalist.
Yeah, he's a journalist.
Would you like to be the next chairman of Channel Television Company Limited?
I don't have the powers to be. But don't let us gloss over this issue of the APC, Senator. Yeah. And just about yesterday, the president was talking about borrowing, and he says that he will continue to borrow responsibly. And this is amidst rising concerns about the country's swelling debt profile. And the president said every single dollar that leaves our treasury to pay punitive interest rate is a dollar that did not go into our steel sector, our textile, and all of that. And he was defending the reason for the borrowing. But Senator, I'd like to ask you, before President Bola Tinubu came into power, he promised discipline and responsible economic management. The president promised renewed hope agenda, economic revival, and improved living standards. Yet, since the removal of fuel subsidy, the floating of the naira, inflation has touched beyond 30%. Food inflation climbed even higher in many periods. The naira lost significant value against the dollar. Going into this election, a lot of the campaign promises APC made to Nigerians. We are going into yet another election. And those will be asking, why shouldn't they punish your party by voting them out? And the opposition has promised that never again would your party gain that prominence.
It's okay. Shay, the only thing I would have liked to ask you is that, your channel is one of the, I think after AIT, China was the next. And you've attained a level of, you have accomplished a lot as an institution, as a broadcasting organization. Play back your coverage of Politics Today, your interview with all the presidential candidates in the 2023 election, including Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who else? Kwakwaso. They all said, we will remove the subsidy first day. So if this president has removed it, has he done something that other did they promise? In fact, I have said, talking about what oppositions are saying, please next time ask them. Because you said because subsidy was removed, prices skyrocketed. You are talking to the wrong person. Because when I was fighting against the removal of subsidy, that was my fear. But when subsidy became a cover for stealing in high places, I didn't think I should be a tool to be used to cover as a, to provide a facade for people to continue to bleed the economy dry. So ask one by one. Ask, most probably, next candidate, Abubakar Atiku, will you revise the subsidy? Will you restore the subsidy? Ask my friend, a trader, so he's familiar with this. Will he restore the subsidy? Who else? Ask. Oh, Amici has also declared. So ask Aspirant Amici, will you restore the subsidy? Go beyond that. You talk about exchange rate. Ask Aspirant or hopeful Aspirant Atiku, will you create two exchange rate regime?
But your party,
as was the case before.
Your party has been in power. The question is what have you done?
Now
You've
made
promises.
You are not listening.
Listen
what we have done. You even listen.
But those who have argued that your party has failed Nigerians.
People have argued. People have failed.
How do you convince them that your party deserves to be re-elected?
Even in a regular university. Let me take your mind back. I don't know the university that you attended. But I know for a fact that if a student feels that he has been unfairly failed, he can ask for a remark of his scripts. That is why I am speaking to specific policy decisions that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has taken, which you yourself alluded to, and you claim that those policies are responsible for the current cost of living. So I ask, is it on the debate now that those who say they must sack us as if was the say so?
Do you think your party deserves to be honored
now,
for another election?
Tinubu, like an engineer, has gone into very difficult terrain to re-engineer the Nigerian economy.
Really?
Yes, and I will list them with your permission, sir.
No, we don't have the time, sir.
If you don't have the time,
we don't have the time because you just have a minute.
And we also say the way you speak that a lot of people say that this opposition, what they have in common is that they are hungry of power. The only person who almost speak the truth was Amici, who said he was hungry. But he did not define the nature of his hunger.
Can your party withstand the pressure of this opposition that is coming?
This man couldn't be
Senator,
but he is hungry for power.
You've seen defeat and you've seen victory in an election. You've seen victory and you've seen defeat. Do you think that this pressure, if Atiku emerges, if Peter Obi emerges, if Amici emerges, do you think that... And Jonathan is also in the fray.
Don't drag my brother into that. That's a gentleman who considered defeat, who said that Nigerian blood is not worth his own ambition. So that is a complete gentleman. When he comes out, we know you are not to speak for him. Are you a member of his party?
Have you seen?
Are you from?
Maybe you are not following
from South.
The political...
I can even speak more for him than you. Given that we are doing geopolitical.
But it does look like your party is worried.
Worried about what?
Like we are sweating right now. Your party is sweating.
You mean that APC will be worried about which are the parties now?
ADC, NDC, PDP.
Okay, I saw Atiku. Atiku is now our best campaign manager because he's attacking Obi. And I see Obi attacking Amici. I see Amici say Obi is a regional player. Atiku is a regional player. He's the only national player. But he didn't tell us what his world unit look like.
We're totally out of time, Senator.
So absolutely out of time, unfortunately.
Thank you so much, Senator.
So opposition can have their dreams, but they will be defeated flatly because nobody believes them. They have to speak to the new policies that they will revise, whether they will revise taxation, they will revise fuel subsidy, they will revise student loan, they will revise any of those bold decisions that President Tinubu has taken.
Elections also come with shockers and surprises.
Yeah.
Thank you so much indeed, Senator Adams Oshomo.
So it's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Terrorize people.
That's our show for today. Apologies, I swore at some point of the program, but I love this job anyways. So much emotions can come. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Shio Akimale. God bless Nigeria.